This is Diana and welcome to Crafted Sweetly. In this video I will show you how to use glass etching cream to create a design on glasses using both a Cricut and Dies. So first of all, you will need the Armor Etch glass etching cream. I'm going to apply this to a champagne glass, and first I'll use a die cut machine to put the design on it. So I'm using a scrap piece of vinyl and a die. Really any die will work, and the vinyl that I'm using is a permanent vinyl, but it won't be on the glass long enough for it to adhere. So I will cut the vinyl around the die, but still leave a border because we want to have a little safety net around the die. Otherwise, you're going to get the etching cream on the glass itself. So you want a little bit of a border around the die. I'm using a diamond press die cutting machine. It's just a hand one manual machine, but it cuts intricate dies beautifully. So I really like this machine for that purpose. And it's a small die, so it goes through easily. So once you cut this, this is a vinyl that I'm cutting out, and it does have a backing, so just get all the excess pieces out, and then we need to take the backing off. This is a rather easy die to transfer onto the glass, so I'm not using any transfer tape for this one. I'm just taking the vinyl off the backing and positioning it on the glass. If you have an idea of where you want it before you start playing around with the vinyl, it makes it a little easier. Position the vinyl on, and if it has creases on it, you don't really need to worry about them unless they're right against the design. We don't want any of the etching cream to seep underneath. So what you can do is pull up the vinyl and just slightly stretch it, and then all that crease will go away. Now if the crease is on the outer portion, it won't really concern because we're not applying any etching cream in that area. If you've ever worked with fondant on a cake, this is kind of the same idea. You lift the fondant a little bit to pull it and stretch it and make it go around the shape of cake that you have. So this is the same idea. You're lifting the vinyl up and pushing out any creases, any bubbles, so that the vinyl is completely attached to the glass. If you don't have it attached to the glass, the etching cream will seep underneath and your design won't be nice and crisp. So when working with etching cream, you should be wearing a glove. I'm gonna put one on the one hand that I'm holding the glass with, just so I don't get any on my hand. And when you apply the etching cream, you do need to have 3 minutes is the time that I found that works well to give it a nice sharp design. So with a brush, I start applying the etching cream to the design, the open design area. So again, it's 3 minutes that we want. And when you apply the etching cream, you're basically brushing this on in all directions for the full 3 minutes. So you can go from left to right, and then up and down, right to left, and then down and towards up. So you kind of have it go in all 4 directions to make sure that you're covering every single little nook and cranny that the stencil has left open. And just continue repeating that again, one direction, turn the glass, do it in the other direction. Once the timer has run out for the 3 minutes, then we need to wash this off. So I will take the glass to a sink area and wash off the brush, and then with the brush is what I'm using to brush off the cream off the glass. So don't use your hand. I mean, I guess I don't have a glove on my other hand. I'm just using the brush to get all the etching cream off the surface. Pat it dry with a paper towel, and then we can remove the vinyl. It almost looks like nothing has happened, that the glass is the same as before. But once you remove the vinyl, you will be able to see the pattern especially after the area is dry. Against the black background, you can see the design a little bit better. And the die cut that I had some really very tiny holes in it. And you can even see the little tiny designs. I'm not sure if you can see them on the camera, but there are little tiny dots that actually transferred. You can see them right there. The small dots, even that showed up on the glass. So that's why you want to make sure that all the creases are out before you apply the etching cream. Now for this design, I used the Cricut to cut out the word. So I'm making 2 champagne glasses for a client, and I cut out the names using the Cricut on, again, permanent vinyl. But this would be a little harder to transfer, especially since there are some loose pieces. So I'm using transfer tape to get the vinyl off the backing, and then using that to transfer it onto the glass. It just makes it easier, especially with intricate cuts, with cuts that have loose pieces like in the 0 or the 8, to make sure that that stays where you need it and you don't have to mess around with it later trying to position it. Once you have it on your transfer paper, then you can kind of play around with it and see exactly where you want it. And I will use the grid lines from the Cricut mat to make sure that this is lined up and it's straight. So you can use the lines on your work surface area to keep the glass straight, and then to make sure that where you're applying the etching, that portion is straight. So I will add a little design at the top portion of this. So I'm doing the name a little lower. Because this vinyl is a little lower, so I'm working on the area where the glass starts curving. You have to play around with it a little more to make sure that all the little creases or bubbles are worked out. So you'll have to lift the vinyl a little more and reposition to make sure that there are no creases in it. I do have links below for the various supplies that I'm using for this project. I like to use my weeding tool to push out any little bubbles, because it's really good precision there with the weeding tool to make sure that a little crease is flattened or a little bubble is worked out. Once you have the vinyl down, we do the same process. Apply the etching cream for 3 minutes, moving the cream in all directions, up, down, left, right. vice versa. Just you want to make sure that the cream is worked well onto the glass. Rinse off, and then we're going to take off the vinyl. And again, because it's not on there long enough, it's easy to remove even though it's permanent vinyl. So once you've done that process again, the bottom portion has the Cricut designs, the top portion has the die cut. So you can create some really beautiful etched glass pieces. So it's pretty easy to make your own champagne glasses that are custom designed. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. And thanks so much for watching. See you next time.